How's it going, Bulldog Company? My name is Midshipman Wexler, and I'm here to show you how to wear and maintain the khaki uniform. So, first things first, we got our name tape on the right, ribbons on the left. You freshmen won't have to worry about that quite yet. And then we have our rank and insignia up here. The rank we wear is a golden eagle globe and anchor. If you're a sophomore, you're going to wear it on the right. Juniors will have it on the left, and then seniors will have one on the left and one on the right. Moving down to the belt, you'll see that we have 3 to 4 inches of excess material. Just reaching past that first loop, anywhere in this general area is good to go in that 3 to 4 inch mark. Moving around to the back, we have our khaki blouse folded with a military crease. So you can kind of see that material back there. Square away neatly so it's not all baggy. What you're going to do is you're going to take your finger guns and bring all that excess material to the back of the blouse. Then fold over and tuck. Now as far as the rest of the uniform goes, it's pretty simple. We have a white undershirt and of course our cover, which we'll wear centered on the head with 2 fingers between the eyebrows and the bottom of that cover. We aren't going to be having it at crazy angles or anything like that. Just right down the middle is good to go. Take this thing into campus cleaners, get it dry cleaned, so that way throughout the quarter you aren't trying to do any major overhauls on it. You're just maintaining the good work they put into the dry cleaner. It makes your life a whole lot easier. The first uniform item we're going to go over how to maintain is the khaki blouse. Usually when you do this, you want to take off your collar devices, which you all as freshmen won't have to worry about. Take off your name tag and tape off your ribbons. I really like to break it up into 3 main parts. There's the front of the uniform, the back of the uniform, and then the collar up here. So for hitting this front area, all you're gonna have to do is come on in. So the key to success here is gonna be using starch. You can find this at any drugstore for like $3. Spray on a good little amount. You're gonna hit it with your hot rock. No moisture on. Just heat. Make sure you get all those creases out. It can be really easy to actually iron creases into the uniform if you're not careful. So take your time with it. Straighten it all out, get in between those buttons. And then of course, up by here, just hit that area. Again, take off your name tag when you do this, make it go a lot smoother. So the back of the uniform is super easy to iron. You can see we just basically have these creases down the middle. We're just gonna iron through in between those creases. You have nothing to worry about here, like no buttons in the way or anything. Simplest thing in the world. Starch on and iron. It's gonna be a little bit dark at first, but that's fine. It's going to dry out and it's going to look totally normal. One of the trickier parts of the blouse to iron is this little shoulder portion here. There's no way you can really lay it down flat all at once, so you're going to need to go ahead and do it 1/2 at a time, if that makes sense. So right now we're hitting the right side. Just insert the right sleeve over the pointy end of your ironing board. Lay it flat, make sure there's no wrinkles. Starch on, hit it with a hot rock. Same exact thing. Get that looking nice and flat. Hit with the hot rod. So the collar is the easiest part of the uniform to iron, even more easy than the back. It's literally just a strip of fabric. You're going to take it, starch it. I usually like to hit this side once, quick once over. Get it looking nice and straight. And I would generally remove those UGAs as well. Flip it over. Same thing on the other side. Now look nice and clean. The hardest things to mess around with is the sleeve, because you can't lay it perfectly flat, and no matter what way you go about it, you're probably going to be ironing over 2 layers of fabric. So what you want to do here is take it insert it over the pointy edge, and then you just have to hit it one at a time, one side at a time. But the key here is you want to maintain this crease on the top of the sleeve, going from this seam where the sleeve is sewn onto the blouse all the way out to the end. And then make sure that the bottom's looking nice and good. Hit it with your starch and hot rod. Really no trick to ironing these trousers. You just iron them like you would iron any pair of pants in your wardrobe. So you're gonna hit this top area with the pockets first, and then we're gonna go into it, and we're gonna hit it one pant leg at a time, making sure we have that military crease down the center and at the back as well. First things first, we're gonna hit around the crotch, take this pocket inside out, lay everything nice and flat. This is where you'll get a lot of wrinkles just from sitting down, standing back up, moving around. This is where they tend to be. Starch that. Hit with the hot rod. After you hit this front area, all you have to do is literally just work it around. We're gonna go all the way around this pant leg. Okay, here, and then after that, we're moving on to the next pant leg and do the same thing, rotating it around, making sure we iron every bit of the top of these trousers. So for ironing the rest of the trouser leg, all you're gonna do is lay it down flat like this. So you got your creases on either side. So we're kind of looking at the inside of the pant leg right here. Now, the thing to be careful about with these trousers is you are ironing 2 layers of fabric, this side of the pant leg and the other side of the pant leg. So you need to be very careful you have this perfectly flat so that when you're doing it on one side, you aren't ironing creases into the other. But pretty simple stuff. Hit with the starch, hot rock, and we're gonna work our way all the way down the pant leg. Once we've worked our way all the way down the pant leg, we're simply gonna take this, flip it over, and hit the other side. Make sure we get any creases that we might have put into here on accident, and make sure this is all looking good. Now you're gonna do the same exact thing with the other pant leg, obviously. Pretty simple. So one last thing we're gonna hit on here is the cover. Super simple. If you want to just keep this thing from looking too floppy, all you have to do, throw some starch on there, and hit with that hot rod. It's just going to make it look a little bit crisper, a little bit nice, and that's what we're into in Bulldog Company. So now we're going to go through the basics of shoe shining. When you guys first get your shoes, they aren't going to look anything like this. They're going to look very matte. The shine comes from just putting in the work, putting in the hours on these bad boys. As you can see, these are a little scuffed up. They haven't got much love recently thanks to COVID, but we're going to go ahead and fix that up today. So the method I'm going to teach you today is called fire shining. It's my favorite method for shining shoes, but I'm just going to go over a quick example of it. Required materials: black shoe polish and cotton balls. I do have this brush that I like to give them a quick wipe down with, get all the dust off, get the small scuffs off. That is by no means a requirement. You can just hit this with an old t-shirt, anything of that sort. First things first, take a cotton ball, soak it in your water. As you see, I always just fill up the cap for the shoe shine with water. You don't need a whole lot. And we're just going to rub around pretty firmly in good little circles until we really start to see that water bead up on the shoe. Just like so. Next, we're going to take this Q-tip, get our polish on. Little goes a long way. And we're just going to apply this again in a circular motion, starting with big circles to get it everywhere we need it, and then moving into smaller circles to really work it into the shoe, work it in that leather. See, the circle starts to get smaller, start to move a little bit quicker, really trying to work this in. Once that's applied, I'm going to take my Bic lighter and I'm just going to melt that polish on there. Really don't need a whole lot of heat, just need to kiss it with it. That's just going to help that shoe polish get in there just a little bit more. Give that a second to cool off. Get another Q-tip. Or soak it again with water. Now this is where it really comes to fruition. You can let this sit for about 5 minutes or so, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to hit this right now. Again, starting big. Then we're going to work it in with smaller, more purposeful circles towards the end. But you can kind of already start to see it work. When you guys are starting from scratch with a brand new shoe, you aren't going to see this shine come on immediately. It's going to take a few coats. But the big thing is don't rush it. Don't try and just cake your shoe in shoe shine. It's not going to do anything for you. It's going to look like trash. You just got to take your time with it, do it right. And that's starting to look pretty good. Now, as you can see, there's still some little scuffs there, still a little bit of unevenness. What you can do, take a rag, take an old t-shirt, anything of that sort. My favorite method is to hold it right there and just get to work on that sucker. Obviously, you're going to repeat that same process all the way around the shoe, making sure you get underneath those laces and hitting that tongue as well. But for fire shining, it's something that you really only need to do once in a while. But you do need to make sure you're hitting those shoes with a rag, some water, something to shine it up, get those scuffs out every week. But fire shining you want to do before inspection, and you want to do it to get the baseline of polish on your shoe. But as far as maintaining it go, water goes a long way. Friction, getting a rag on there, getting a t-shirt, all you have to do is buff that stuff out and you'll be looking real good.